Hi everyone, it's Jean from Inky Owl Studio. Thanks so much for stopping by. Welcome for the first time if you're a first time viewer, and welcome back. Um, I'm going to be starting a new project, and as I complete this project, I'm going to make some videos to show some of the processes that I go to. So these videos will be a little combination of craft with me and a sort of a tutorial or sort of a how-to. Anyways, the new journal that I'm going to be working on is from Artymaze Autumn Splender. If you are a fan of autumn colors, this kit is for you. It's beautiful, just so lovely, lovely colors in it. A nice selection of pages. Some of these pages, this is what I've had in file already, as well as this one and that one. So there's a little mixture here of, excuse me, her kit, as well as papers that I've chosen for the back. And so I have those all done and cut out. I have also cut out my tea stain paper that I'm going to be using. I have like 7 sheets of this, I believe. And I don't know, this must come to like maybe six pages of that. And I also thought that echo prints would be very beautiful and lovely in this kit. And this is on vellum paper. And I believe this one comes from Nick the Booksmith, her echo prints. And this is another select digital of a echo print. And this one is from Ephemera's Garden. She has several of these under her kit called Familiar Trees. So I might even do another sheet of this. I think it would really go well with this fall theme kit. And this is just some of the ephemera that comes with it. There's more, there's a lot more, but so far this is what I've got printed out. So this is going to be the two Traveler's Notebook size journals that I'm going to be making. And I've decided that for this one, I am going to put on a cloth cover. And here's the cloth that I have picked out of my stash. I am just bound and determined to use my stash up, but I do believe that this goes very nicely with her prints. And I will most likely be putting this on the front of the print, on front of the cover. So I think this goes very well. And I love the colors in there. They're muted enough, but yet they're still vibrant. And so we'll be working on this today. I'm going to show you how I make the cover for my TN journals. So I have the fabric here, and what I like to do is I like to iron on interfacing on the other side of the fabric. And the reason being a couple of things. One thing is I feel makes the fabric stiffer and easier to work with, and easier to overcome some wrinkles you might get. I also like to use interfacing with cloth when I'm using journals if I'm going to be doing some kind of gluing, because it's like one more layer to offset that problem we have sometimes with cloth, and that is we put glue on it, then we can see like a stain on the other side. So interfacing, I think, really helps with both of those issues. I just like working with it, and especially if you're using a fabric that's not super thick. Now, if this were some kind of decor fabric, you would not need this, but a lot of cottons end up needing it, especially if they're a thinner cotton. So I have those cut close to the size that I need. So this is going to be the pages of the journal. And I'm trying to get these lined up here. I had them lined up. Maybe I've got the wrong way here. I want to cut pieces that are just a little larger than what my cover is going to be. So I usually add about a good inch all the way around the cover, because I can always cut it off. That goes pretty easy. Covered up my scissors here. Here they are. So I am going to eye it up and just cut off these two. My fabric is doubled, so I'm making two covers at one time here. So there we go. I have my two covers cut out. And now what I need to do is I need to iron my interfacing onto the back side of each piece of fabric. Alrighty, my iron's hot. When you buy interfacing, I will show you, it usually comes on, you know, a fabric thing. And this is, I'm using P44F fusible interfacing. So you'll want to be looking for fusible interfacing. This is only $1 a yard. I don't buy the very expensive at all. This is, I don't know if this is coming in very well, but when you buy it, it will come with instructions on how to apply it to your fabric. So you'll want to pay attention to those. But generally speaking, you're going to be using a steam iron. And I usually give the fabric a good initial iron to make sure that it's nice and flat, pressed out. And essentially you're going to be using a pressing, let me back up, have your iron on steam. So you want some steam coming out. Make sure that the rough side, this side's rough and this one's smooth. The rough side is where the glue is at, so that one needs to be down on your fabric. And then you're going to be using a pressing cloth. Now, a pressing cloth, listen, you can buy them, but you don't need to do that. This is just a piece of muslin. You can use a old pillowcase. You can use any kind of relatively thin cotton, mainly cotton fabric. And this has been used a lot. As you can see, it's all marked up. But this is all this is just a piece of muslin that I've just been using. And you put this over, and then you're going to press on a little bit here and a little bit there and kind of just work over the surface. And what you're doing is you're allowing time for the glue to adhere to your fabric. And it doesn't take very long. This takes a you know, a few minutes. Alrighty. And then when you take it off, you'll see that, see, I need to adhere the edges more. Okay, so some of it's adhered, some of it's not. You can kind of test it out like that. Yeah, I have to say getting the edges is not my strong point. I usually have to go back in and make sure I get those done. You might want to give it a little bit of steam from your iron. And we'll just go around the edges again. Alrighty, both sides have been ironed on, but don't put your iron away yet, because now we're going to have to do the inside of the cover. So the inside of the cover, I'm going to do cardstock, and I printed this out on a cardstock. And you'll want to make this just a little bit bigger than your pages. As you can see, though, I have a printer that has a border on it. So that's always a challenge. If you have a borderless printer, or if you have scrapbook paper, a very heavy scrapbook paper, you would have to, yeah, if you're using scrapbook paper, I'm thinking you're going to have to glue that to cardstock so that you have a heavy enough inside. I've never used it before, so I'm not exactly sure about scrapbook paper. Anyways, so you're going to have to cut it a little bit larger, and that means I have this really ugly border all the way around. Now, it's what I end up doing is I end up distressing that white a little bit, and also when I put my stitches on, a lot of that white also gets, you know, used up and put away, recede to the background. So you'll want to cut that cover just a little bit, and this is going to be, this inside cover is going to be the guide to the rest of it. So in order to blend it in, then this is what I usually do. And, you know, granted, it's not a perfect method, but it's the only one that I can come up with for now. Now, what you're going to need to do with this, because you're going to want to attach this to the inside of your cover here, so eventually it's going to be inside and adhered to your cloth. What I like to use is I like to use Heat and Bond, or you can use Wonder Under. You know, it's whichever. Let's see if I can get here. It's Heat and Bond. But the key to both of them is you want to choose the light, because that you can sew on. The heavy duty, usually they recommend not sewing on it because the glue is so heavy that it can gum up your needle. So look for the light. That's pretty important there. And once you do that, you're going to line up your piece. Now you really don't want to go over it. If anything, you want to go just a hair smaller than your piece, but you definitely don't want to go over it because it'll gum up your iron. So let us just cut this out. Now, just like the interfacing, the Wonder Under or the Heat and Bond has a glue side and a paper side, just like stickers. So the paper side is the side you want to iron on, and the other side is the one that you want to adhere to the other side of your board here. Now let me grab my iron. I put it over here on the shelf, and it's very similar to the interfacing. You are just going to, oh, this one here you want to do dry, so you don't want steam necessarily. And it's like 3 seconds, I think, in one spot. It's kind of the, and it too comes with instructions. It'll tell you how to use it, so you'll want to read those over. So now that's attached. It's time to attach it to the cover. I'm going to decide which, let's see, which side do I think I want for the cover. I think this has the most variation. So I'm going to make this side the cover front, and this will be the back. And we will iron this in. So we'll just take off this layer of paper. Then as you do, you can see how you can feel that the glue has been transferred and the paper comes off, you know, like sticker paper, clean. And that's all done there, and I'm just going to iron it on in the middle of it. And I think I might even get a press cloth, because ironing it on, you do have to hold your iron just a little bit longer than you did to attach the glue the first time. So again, we're just going to and hold it. I believe the directions said to count to 10. It's been so long since I've read them. You know how it is. You get kind of cocky and you kind of think you know how to do it, right? And we'll just press it down here on the edges. And so I like using the Wonder Under rather than just glue. I think it just has a cleaner just more solid. It, you know, adheres better. And I also believe that you avoid all the little globs that might happen if you put the glue on a little thick here, a little thick there. Although the interfacing would really help with that. So you might want to try just gluing this rather than using the Wonder Under, but I'm just showing you the way that I do it. And that is finished. Now the next thing we're going to do now is we are going to sew with a sewing machine. We're going to do a zigzag, and I'm going to sew right along the edge up here. And I might, I'll go very close to the edge, and I'll do a second pass where I'll go a little bit beyond the edge. So let me show you what I mean. I will sew it now and then come back and show you what I mean. Before I sew it, I did want to interject here that you don't have to sew around it. You can at this point just chuck maybe some of the edges. Usually it'll be in the corners where maybe the glue didn't reach, and just put a little dab of glitter glue on there and let it dry a little bit, and then just cut it off here right at the edge all the way around, and you're good to go. There will be some fraying, sort of like this, but it's not going to fray all the way because the glue is going to stop it. It's a good coat of glue on there. So that is a idea that you may want to keep in mind, that it doesn't have to be sewn around, that you can at this point just cut around it, make sure the edges are fully sealed, and you're good to go. So I'll be back. All right, I went over it 2 more times, so it was a total of 3 times around it. And so the second time, or the last 2 times, I kind of went over the cardstock and into the fabric a little bit. There's always going to be some fraying. There just is, and I think that's just part of the look. And if you are a long-time sewer, that fraying may bother you, but don't let it. You're not making a piece of clothing. So now we're just going to go through here, and we're just going to cut. We don't want to cut our stitches, but we're going to cut just to the right of them there. And so this is just one way of making these cloth covers. Everybody has various ways of doing it, and I'm just showing you my process. And you may see other people do different things, and hey, it's perfectly whatever floats your boat, whatever gets the job done. So there we have the cover here, all ready to go. So that is what we're going to be doing today, and I'm going to be moving on to utilizing the ephemera and putting the pages in and doing that on the next video. So thanks so much for viewing. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope it helped you a little bit to maybe create your own cloth cover. And subscribe so that I can bring you on the journey as I complete it. Talk to you later. Bye.